beginning, I thought that to succeed, I needed to find partners, that would help me sell this product and kind of expand the word. But my focus was wrong a little bit at the beginning. I realized I had to focus in people and them getting a result in the product. So my focus shifted in creating what I call raving fan customers, raving fan that are obsessed, fanatic, kind of like Apple users. You know how before, when the new iPhones came out, it was a huge line, literally, like they would wait days to get the iPhone. Those are raving fan customers. So my obsession was, okay, even if I get one customer, how can I help this person get the best result possible so that this person becomes obsessed with the product?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the None of Your Business podcast. Sean and Lacey here. And oh, do we have a great episode lined up for you today. I'm super excited to be discussing some of the topics that I'm particularly passionate about.
Stuff we love.
But I'm not an expert in.
Right.
I mean, I'm just a dibble dabbler, as Jessica Coberly says, in this. And so it'll be great to get some insight, and not only insight, but inspiration. I mean, how many people out there that listen to the podcast or watch the podcast regularly struggle, right? We talk about this all the time, right? So maybe you are not where you want to be in your business, and that's okay, because just 4 short years ago, our guest says that he was just dead broke, and he's managed in that short span of time to create a 7-figure business, 7-figure plus. And man, we want to hear his story. So everybody, please welcome to the None of Your Business podcast, Gian-Carlo Torres. But he says, since we're his friends, that we can call him Gianco. Gianco, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, no, thank you so much. It's really my pleasure to be here with all of you. Truly.
Hey, we're super excited about this story. Tell us about, roll us back 4 years ago to where you were broke. What was going on, and what was in your head when you were contemplating the fact that you didn't have any money, and how'd you get to where you are today?
Well, it's funny because once you become an entrepreneur, right, I heard about invest in yourself. So after so long, I was just so sad about my financial situation. But like I once heard, you learn more when you lose than when you win. So now I'm thinking that when I was broke, that's when I learned the most in my life. And I have to say that when I graduated from high school, no special degree, no special education, no special skills, but I was always looking for a business. I was always an entrepreneur. But what happens, whenever I start Google, okay, like how to become, a business owner, it would say, 80% of entrepreneurs fail. So I was like, okay, that's so encouraging. And then usually the stats would say that you need to, invest $5,000 to $10,000 to start a business. And I had $50 to my name. So that was kind of like the beginning of like, okay, I want to become an entrepreneur, but how do I become an entrepreneur? Since I have no special contacts, no skills, and no money. I thought that was a very bad combination, but I was hungry. And basically, in whatever I did, I was good at it. If I was a waiter, I was a good waiter. If I did construction, I was great at construction. But I was building someone else's dream and not my own dream. And I always knew this. And I was like, okay, how can I build my own dream but help lots and lots and lots of people? And in this process of, failing forward, my mother gets sick. And that was like, okay, now I'm going through this personal situation. Now I also have to deal with this other situation. So it was very distressing. But again, it was the moments of most lessons. And in that period of looking, someone tells us about a product. We gave it to her literally a week after she was out of bed. I found out there was an entrepreneurial opportunity behind it. And I said, you know what? We looked at each other, mom and I said, you know what? Let's build this together and make a business. And again, with no experience, we built a 7-figure business for the past 4 years. So, that's kind of a little bit of my story.
I love that. And I love that you started off saying that you heard that you need to invest in yourself. And our listeners know that we are big on this concept of investing in you and investing in yourself first, right? So, can you tell us along this journey of 4 years? I mean, you don't get to a million plus business without reinvesting in yourself. What are some things that you've done specifically that have helped you grow as an entrepreneur and as an individual to get to where you are now?
Three things I did. First, I started buying lots of books. In school, I always thought that I didn't like to read. And later on, I realized that I love to read. I was just reading the wrong stuff.
That's good.
So,
I like that.
so once I found the right books, reading became like candy for me to this day. So even when I had no money, I would spend $100 in books every month when I was probably earning $500 a month, literally. So most of my income was going to that. And then with book reading, I found podcasting. And I started to really love podcasting. I started to learn so many skills through podcasting. And I would say that a lot of my success nowadays is because I found good podcasts and I heard these podcasts hundreds of times, the same one. Like there are certain podcasts that I can literally like replay it in my mind because I've heard it so many times. So books, podcasting, and then events. And when I say events, not only in-person events of entrepreneurs, of very successful entrepreneurs, but also online events. Just last year, I spent almost $300 on a online event that took 3 days, and it was 8 hours each day. And I was just with my notebook writing. And when I was in that event, my business was at 7 figures already. So it's not like, 7 figures, okay, let me buy a yacht, right, and just relax a little bit. No, I was still investing in myself, sat down, took all the notes, and that event just, again, it helped my business go to another momentum. So I would say books, podcasting, and events.
Well, wouldn't it be, we one of our key questions all the time that we teach people to ask.
I knew I was going to ask the same thing.
Is top 3. So give us, Giancarlo, your top 3 books and your top 3 podcasts that you would recommend that people consume.
Well, the first book I would say that changed my way of seeing money was Secrets to the Millionaire's Mind by Harv Eker. Mm-hmm. That was my aha in money. I figured that I have been seeing money wrong all this time. Mm-hmm. And that kind of challenged me to see it differently, to approach money differently. Now, even though that was like, I would say my first business book ever, actually, eventually I picked some favorites, right? So the first one I would say is called The Millionaire Training by Larry Thompson. The Millionaire Training by Larry Thompson. I've read that book more than 50 times, I think, to this day. Like even this week, just these days, I went back to the book, and just went back. And there are so many golden nuggets in that book that I think, and I'm convinced that whoever wants to become an entrepreneur and reads that book will be fine, will be 100% fine. So The Millionaire Training by Larry Thompson is the first one. The second one, I would say, would be Failing Forward by John Maxwell. Mm-hmm. Classic, because I started to learn with that book that if you see failure differently, you can practically achieve everything. Like there's this one quote in that book that I love. It says, some people ask, what would you do if you know that you wouldn't fail? And he says in the book, I think that's wrong. He says, I think the question should be, what would you do if you saw failing differently? Amazing. So true. So I started to fail forward after that book. And third, I would say The Good Millionaire by Harv Eker. That was kind of like a second edition of Secrets of Millionaire Mind. He kind of simplifies everything on, again, how to think about money, but how to duplicate a business. And that's kind of what we're all looking for, right? Not only a business that we can enjoy, but also a business that's self-sufficient. And that book showed me that. So I would say those 3 books. So The Millionaire Training, Failing Forward, and The Good Millionaire by Harv Eker. Podcast, The 3 Steps to a Breakthrough by Tony Robbins. Amazing. Just amazing podcast. Again, it's a podcast that I've heard, who knows, 30, 40, 50 times. And sometimes when even I'm playing video games, literally, I'll put that podcast and kind of just rethink it again, get the points. I'm like, okay, I got it. I got it now, Tony. I got it now. So The 3 Steps to a Breakthrough by Tony Robbins, amazing. That podcast will also kind of change your perspective. It really will. One of my mentors, his name is Eric Worre. Love what he does. And he interviews a lot of entrepreneurs. He did an interview with Grant Cardone. Again, he speaks a lot about how business is all about attention. The more attention you gather, the more people know you and the more you can succeed. And in that podcast, he talks about that. And again, I've heard it a couple of times just to kind of get all the notes. And the third will be also by Eric Worre. He interviews a very successful entrepreneur called Jeff Roberti. Has earned millions and millions of dollars. His team has sold more than $10 billion in 40 years. And he talks about a lot of simple concepts. So those would be my 3 podcasts. The 3 Steps to a Breakthrough, Grant Cardone with Eric Worre, Jeff Roberti with Eric Worre.
I didn't ask about the event because I knew he wasn't going to say summer camp, but I'm going to say summer camp. Giancarlo, you should check out summer camp. I was
thinking the same thing. He would love this event.
Summer camp is our crown jewel growth conference here in Indianapolis, Indiana. www.cometosummercamp for everybody who is not yet registered and watches the podcast. This year we've got Patrick Bet-David, David Meltzer, Scott Sims. Duffy, Steve Sims. It's a packed lineup. It's going to be
and it's
amazing.
all about that, expanding your mind on marketing, sales, mindset strategies to become and elevate as an entrepreneur. And of course, we have tons of service providers that are there. So that would be something with your energy and the things that you're into, you would love it. I guarantee it.
Well, everybody's dying to know what's the product then. So what is the thing that saved your mom?
Well, it's the product has over 42 years of medical and scientific research, which was amazing for me because in the supplement industry, okay, it's very hard to find something with compelling research, which is why I think there's so much skepticism around whenever you tell someone about a supplement or about a supplement with science, because they think, oh, it's just something else. I've tried millions of it. I don't think it's going to work. I'm just going to spend my money. So this product has over 42 years of medical and scientific research. It's in the doctor's book of both US and Canada, has over 80 patents. And basically what it does is that once you consume these nutrients that we can't find in our foods nowadays, our cells make a molecule called glutathione. It's kind of a complicated word, but we couldn't find an easier word. But once your cells make this molecule that we all have, and it raises it to healthy levels, then 4 things happen. First of all, it maintains your immune system. Okay, it can literally regulate the immune system, which what happened to my mother. She was going through a serious autoimmune condition, and when she consumed this, her immune system started to regulate. So from her being in bed basically a whole year with no energy and just chronic fatigue, from literally a week later, I remember like if it were yesterday, it was a Sunday morning. I wake up and I see her organizing the kitchen. I see her cleaning. I say, Ma, what happened? She's the product. And that's when I start to investigate the power of regulating the immune system. So that's the first thing it does. The second thing it does is that once you start raising this molecule in your body, it helps the liver, kidneys, and lungs detoxify. So a Dr. Jimmy Gumman, a good friend of mine, says that after water, there's not a better detoxifier than this. And why is this so important? Well, if you're healthy or you're not healthy, it doesn't matter. We have to be clean. Lots of us live in big cities. And in all these cities, we're always breathing things that are not supposed to be in our body. We are breathing toxins and, and all these things. That's not good. But if our liver and kidneys and lungs are detoxifying, then we'll have a clean body. Third thing it does, maintains your energy levels. So one thing is caffeine energy and one thing is normal energy. Okay, that's the first thing I saw in my mom. It starts to basically help your mitochondria, the batteries of your body. It starts to help them work at its max. So we even have Olympic athletes using it because of energy. And the last thing it does is that's your body's master antioxidant. What does that mean? Well, if you have high levels of antioxidants in your body, you age well and you live well. And that's those would be the 4 things it does. Basically, we have 2 star products, a product called Immunocal and Immunocal Platinum. They both do the same thing practically. Platinum is just more of an advanced version for people over 35 or athletes.
Well, I love it. And it sounds like a phenomenal product. So here's the thing I'm wondering now. It's been around for so long, for you said 40 plus years, right?
It's been in the market 20 years. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. It's been on the market 20 years.
Right. The research has been over 42 years.
Got it. So 20 years it's been on the market. So, I haven't heard of this before. So obviously you did something when you found this product to market it in a way that allowed you to accelerate your business. So what are some key things that you did strategically to market your product and your business?
In the beginning, I thought that to succeed, I needed to find partners, that would help me sell this product and kind of expand the word. But my focus was wrong a little bit in the beginning. I realized I had to focus in people and them getting a result in the product. So my focus shifted in creating what I call raving fan customers, raving fan that are obsessed, fanatic, kind of like Apple users. You know how before, when the new iPhones came out, it was a huge line. Literally, they'll wait days to get the iPhone. Those are raving fan customers. So my obsession was, okay, even if I get one customer, how can I help this person get the best result possible so that this person becomes obsessed with the product? Once I kind of focused on this, referrals start to come, unlimited referrals, because I focused on their result. Okay. And then I started to think about what Zig Ziglar once said. If you help people get what they want, you will have everything you want. So I realized the business is not about me, it's about the person in front of me. So let me focus on their result. How do I do this? By under promising and over delivery. No claims, no promises, but just education and understanding. My goal is that whenever I'm with someone, I want to educate them to the point that they understand what we have and how this can benefit them with under promising. If I under promise and I over deliver, what happens? You create a raving fan customer. Once I started to build this foundation of raving fan customers, partners start to come along, business start to come along, and then I start to expand my network of customers. So that's how I started. I just started and looking for their result, and then from there we just kept growing.
So the product has been around. You found it. What is the relationship between you and the product? Are you reselling it, or have you basically taken over their distribution? How does that work? And how could somebody that's listening find the product if they were interested?
Yes. So basically, I'm in the direct sales industry. So except starting the business and spending like $10,000 for a business with high risk, I just started a business basically under $1,000, and then I started to expand my network. So I'm a consultant for the company. Okay, I kind of bought a mini franchise, if you want to put it that way. Okay, and then some from that. Yep, I just kind of kept expanding my network. For whoever wants to find me and find the product, basically just go to thisisgianco.com. And it's really cool because I actually just launched this website this week. So
perfect timing.
So yeah, it is. So this is Gianco. And again, Gianco is Gianco. And then, you can find info on the product. You can find info about me. And if you want to contact me, you can definitely go through that website.
So I got to ask, so you seem super passionate about health and wellness, right? And you know a lot about the body and the way that it works, especially related to how the product impacts that. But is there anything else that you do or have seen be very effective from a health standpoint, almost like health hacks for individuals, especially entrepreneurs that are trying to achieve more energy or, live at that high vibrancy lifestyle that they need to in order to, wear all the hats and do all the things that they need to be doing?
To answer that, I remember watching a video with Jeff Bezos. And they asked him, hey, what's your secret? To be the richest man in the world. And I was so intrigued. And I was like, wow, it's so simple. He said, sleep 8 hours a night. Sorry. He says, sleep 8 hours a night. He says, I work hard. I'm a multi-billionaire. But I sleep 8 hours every single night. He says, and why is this? He says, because as an entrepreneur and as a CEO, you have to make high quality decisions. Not many decisions, but high quality decisions. He says, my goal is to at least make 3 good decisions per day. He says, and I can only do that if I sleep 8 hours a night. If I sleep less, I cannot make a high quality decision. So the best hack for any entrepreneur is, hey, you know what? I know in the beginning we're hustling and we want to get to the goals. And sometimes, I know entrepreneurs, right, that work 10, 50, 16 hours a day. But sleep 8 hours a night. Sleep 8 hours a night, because then your productivity will be so much better. And if your productivity is better, your business is going to be amazing. So that would be definitely the most important health hack that I would give to an entrepreneur.
I'll tell you from my perspective, and probably viewers and listeners of the podcast really never heard us talk about that, because we sort of talk about that inside Black Diamond Club a lot. For me, my secret has been thymosin alpha 1 peptides for a very long time. Just recently added a couple more peptides in there. Kind of sucks because I do take them through subcutaneous injection, which is not fun for most people. But that's been clutch. And I do agree with Giancarlo that it is sleeping. Right? We closely monitor. I mean, for me, I'm 10 years older than you, so I closely monitor my sleep. And I think that, Giancarlo is super young. He's in his 20s. That 8 hours a day becomes more and more important as you get older.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, I'm all over that, about making sure. I mean, and that's interesting because that's really where my numbers land. My average, if you look at any given week, is 8 hours. That's what I average sleeping per night. And so I absolutely agree with that. And then, as you get older, because of the entrepreneurial lifestyle, you do then look for a lot of these health hacks, which is why this space is amazing, right? For anybody who's, in business in general, not even just an entrepreneur more so, but anybody that has a job that's demanding. You can't do your job at its highest level if you have protected your physical health, right? That's why that's absolutely critical.
Yeah. And I think for our listeners out there, if you're wondering, like, what's the best way to track my sleep? We've tried all sorts of different things, right? And
Whoop
so we used to use the Whoop watch. It tracks your sleep.
No, it's not a watch.
It's not a watch. It's a band. Yeah. I'm looking at my Apple Watch. So Whoop band. And I mean, it tracks your sleep. It tells you what kind of quality of sleep that you got, which I also think is important, because I agree 8 hours of sleep is important to have great productivity, make quick decisions, but it's got to be quality sleep. I mean, because you all know we've all had really bad nights where you're in bed for 8 hours, but the sleep is not great. So that's the other thing that we're always going after, is good quality sleep for a period of time. So I think it's great. Track your sleep. I love that tip.
So Gianco, so we started with, what was it like in the beginning 4 years ago when you didn't have any money and you're trying to figure out what you want to do? What has changed in your life now, 4 years later? What's different, and what lessons have you learned through this successful journey?
That I am happiest when I'm contributing and growing. If I'm growing and contributing, I'm at my max. If one is missing, I'm not feeling it. I'm not at 100%. And, as entrepreneurs, as you both know, sometimes entrepreneurship, especially when you become successful, it's not about so much the goal anymore. It's now more about growth. It's about growth. It's about growing in that process and growing and contributing. Yeah, that those really are the best two lessons that I've learned these past 4 years. And what I've also learned in these past 4 years is that the journey to achieving your goal is so much more important than the goal, because that's where you learn. That's where you fail forward. That's where, you have to see failure as a friend, as in, okay, I failed. Cool. How can I fix it quick and keep going? Okay. That's when you see who are your real friends also, right? Because when you're not successful, the people that you think that you had a good relationship with, then eventually you see that you don't have a good relationship with. So there's so many journeys that, so many lessons in the journey that even though they hurt, they're necessary. So my message for all entrepreneurs, or really for anybody who wants to succeed or has a goal, is that except focusing so much on the goal, what I've learned is focus more on the journey, on the growth. Not only will you achieve your goal, but you will also enjoy it better, right? It's like they say, if you're so, if you think I'll be happy when, you never be happy. And that's true, because happiness is a journey. It's not a one-time thing. And, I want everybody, that is listening to understand that it's not like when I achieve, I'll be happy. No, enjoy every single day, learn every single day, grow every single day in the journey, and you will get to your goal. You will. But at the same time, you have a fun time. So, when I learned that, everything changed, truly.
Yeah, growth is one of the most important things for an entrepreneur. I mean, the most dangerous place an entrepreneur can be in is stagnancy, not moving, not growing, not adapting, not shifting. I mean, because there's no way that your business can move forward if you're not doing things to constantly and consistently grow as an individual and as a business owner. So I think that's fantastic.
So what's next for you, Giancarlo? What are you going to do next? Are you going to just keep selling the supplement to 5 million, or do you have aspirations for other things?
Well, you know what? I'm one of those people that once I stick to something, to a project, I go and finish it. So, if we're if we're right now selling over 7 figures of product per year, definitely in the next year, 8 figures, 9, 10 figures, keep going forever, because I've helped so many people with this product that I know that it is a responsibility to keep helping lots of more people with this product. It's a responsibility. So right now, really, we've helped lots of people, really nation, but now it's my goal to help everybody in the world with this product. And that's a project by itself. So yeah, no, I am definitely not done in this project. Again, because I want to see more testimonials. I want to see more people succeeding. I want to see, more people calling me and calling people, hey, you know what? Before this product, I was this and this and that. Now, because of this product, I have quality of life. Thank you. I want more of those calls. I want more of that. And I want to see people, succeeding with side hustles, which is, like what I also do. So, this is a responsibility. It's a mission. And I know that one of the reasons why I started doing podcasting also is because I realize how much value I've received with podcast. So I thought to myself, wait a second, if I've received so much value through podcast, how much value can I give through podcasting? And because of that, thinking, in January, I made the decision to be part of 42 Podcast in 12 months. So this is, I think, podcast number 10, and I'm really enjoying it.
Love it.
Well, you did a fantastic job. Amazing story, amazing project. This is Gianco, Gianco. This is Gianco.com. That's where you can find more information about today's
part
guest.
Of the journey.
You can also, you could be a part of the journey. You could be part of the future too. Get your glutathione in you. Everybody needs glutathione.
We do. Yeah.
We're hyped on glutathione as well. Super inspirational, Gianco. Thank you so much for sharing with us. It's a very inspirational story, and I hope that you've touched some people's lives and inspired people to keep going. That their 7-figure business could be right around the corner if they don't give up. They have to keep their feet moving. They can't fall down. They've got to keep pressing forward. And Gianco, you are a testament to that very thing. We appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Truly.
Check him out at www.thisisgianco, Gianco.com. Thisisgianco.com. You can find out all the information about him, connect to his podcast, subscribe to his podcast, give him tons of love. By all means, he definitely deserves it. All right, that's all we have for you this week on the None of Your Business podcast. We'll be back again next week, as usual, with another exciting, informational, fantastical episode. Take care.